Jack
When,
Grealish
that's what winners do.
is the greatest footballer to ever live. Like, it's just it's one of them ones. Like, even people saying Jack's getting more attention than the treble. Listen, Jack Grealish, yeah, he's everyone in it. Like, in a I think in a society now where people view footballers as like out of touch, like multi-millionaires that yeah, they're just completely out of touch with reality. Jack Grealish is probably like the most normal footballer that you could ever like find on planet Earth, in it. Like, and I think there's something about him. Like, I don't know, I don't care who you support, that there's no way you cannot love this guy.
Yeah, he's so down to earth. I said this morning to somebody that I feel like he's Gascoigne. I'm not talking about the ability.
He is 100%,
because
100%.
Gaza was Gaza, but his interviews, his press match conferences, like, he just has a laugh. Like, he was sitting there going to Thierry Henry, like, Thierry, look, do you think you could have taken on Kyle Walker? And it was just really good to see that kind of
no other footballer probably asked him that. But you know what it is with Jack? Yeah, he's just like, he almost behaves like he can't believe he's there, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? He's just like, whatever, this is Thierry Henry, I might not get the opportunity to ask him this again. Like, Kyle Walker's right here, let me just ask him. Like, he's almost like he's a fan, but he's not a fan. He's Jack Grealish. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's mad. He's a very, very normal guy. Like, you know what I mean? And I see an interview with him, and he was talking about Erling Haaland, and he was like, yeah, this guy like counts every calorie on his plate, all these things. He's like, listen, I just want to go out and have a drink. Like, I could never be like him, and I don't want to be like him. Do you know what I mean? He's very comfortable about who he is in it and what he is, and I've got so much time for that.
Yeah, listen, I think he is living what I think every one of us would want, right? He really seems grateful that he is a footballer. I think he has matured really well in the last 3 or 4 years. The more I hear about his upbringing as well, like his brother died when they were little. You know, his sister's got cerebral palsy. Like, and the videos you see going around, he makes time for everyone. And listen, he is what we'd all, well, I'd like to think that's what I would be like if I was an England footballer, right? I'd like to think I'm that and not so far up my own backside that no one likes me. But hey, yeah, I like him. I like Jack Grealish. We could have had him. We could have had him years ago.
You could have.
You didn't want to pay 5 million.
Yeah, and it was, you could have got him for like 15 million or something like that, innit? Something
like 20 that. Or something. Yeah, just ridiculous. But yeah, listen, that's the history of Spurs. And yeah, but look, I felt that again the other night. I thought it was quite a difficult first half for him. I didn't think they moved the ball quick enough to him. Every time he got the ball, it was slowly, and he was doubled up on.
We have to give Simeone credit, but also, like, this sounds strange, innit? But I think that Pep was extremely lucky, you know, in that game, because I think tactically he got a lot of things wrong and he got away with it. I think you saw when he took off John Stones, yeah, in the second half, yeah, and brought on Kyle Walker, City conceded about 3 chances where Ederson made a couple saves. The one hit the bar, one hit Lukaku. Ederson made a save. They could have lost that game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game for me. I think that, look, let's be really, really honest. Inzaghi went there with the intention of, we are shutting up shop, and that's how you've got to play against City. The problem is most teams that do that against City don't have the defensive solidity that Inter Milan have. They have that unit. A Serbi, for example, I thought was absolutely sensational. But look, I think that would have stunned City. They weren't able to get their normal passing game going. They had too many bodies. Second half, I just felt they upped it a tiny bit after the break. And I thought that Bernardo Silva and Grealish started to drag the team further forward on the wings. And eventually, that's how the goal came, from Bernardo Silva running the channels and pulling back. But it was a close final. It was a very good 15 minutes. But what I will say is this: what I give credit to Inter Milan for is also the downfall. And what I mean by that is, for that tactic to work, it's brilliant when it works. Like, it's brilliant. For 75 minutes, it works. Yes. The moment you concede, all of a sudden, it's like, we've not really been attacking here. What are we going to do? And to be fair, when Lukaku came on, as much as he missed a few chances, he mixed it up. He rattled City. I thought he was better for Inter Milan. So
yeah, he gives them a different look, because when you've got Edin Dzeko, you don't have to worry about movement in behind. And the thing is, Inter didn't really create much. But this is what I was saying. Like at halftime, I said, if you're the managers, you're more happy if you're Simeone. Inzaghi, sorry. However, if you're Pep, you're looking at the two teams and you're thinking, I trust my players more than his players to make something happen. You know, so even though you're happier as the Inter manager, Pep, you're more comfortable. So it was one of them things where it was a very interesting game, but I feel like Pep definitely got away with one in that game, because I don't think that they won the game because he coached a great game. I feel like they won the game because they had better players. That's what I believe. Because when I look at tactically, like from the first 15, 20 minutes, like I was like, yo, like Inter have matched them up really well here. Players like Grealish, the reason why Grealish wasn't getting a lot of space is because tactically they got it spot on. Do you know what I mean? And it was like they matched them up formation-wise. They didn't give them any space. And I thought in order for Pep to manufacture some space, you probably need fullbacks overloading to kind of give the wide players a bit of help, because in 1v1s Bernardo was getting zero change on the other side, nothing at all. Do you know what I mean? And Jack was getting nothing, so they almost needed decoy runners, which they weren't getting. And when De Bruyne came off and Foden started making runs in the middle, he started to stretch them. Do you know what I mean? So you started seeing different, it was more the personnel, but tactically I felt like on another day, man, like the one that hits the bar, the one that Lukaku blocks, and then also Edison made a really good save from a corner right at the end. I think he tipped one over. Like it was crazy. Yeah, Lukaku blocked one. Lukaku headed one straight at him, and then he tipped one over as well. Like they could have conceded 3 goals and lost the game.
They could have. I mean, listen, playing devil's advocate, there were chances for City. You know, Haaland should have scored. Phil Foden had a couple of chances through on goal. Look, I think you're right, though. I think that sometimes in those moments and in those big games, that's when the better players stand out. And that goal was a good goal. It was a really good goal. And I just feel that Inter, as I said, brilliant tactically, but did they quite have enough in open play to break down City? No. But listen, what a very good performance it was. But you know what? I don't think City or Pep will care, right? It got the monkey off the back. They've got the treble. Everyone has written them off this season. Everyone talking about how Haaland has made them worse. And
to be fair, he was anonymous in that game again. Like I was saying, I would have taken him off. And people were saying, oh, you can't take Haaland off because he's always a goal threat. He is, but I feel like different games suit different types of players. And the way that Inter defended well, I thought it wasn't a game for him. It wasn't a game for De Bruyne, and it was more a game for the intricate players. This is where you see the likes of Bernardo, the likes of Foden, the likes of Grealish. These guys come into their own when there's not a lot of space to play in it. And this is why taking off John
in tight areas.
Exactly. That's why taking off John Stones I thought was a big mistake, because he was immense. And no one's talking about this guy. If Declan Rice is worth 100 million, then John Stones is worth 200 million right now, because this guy is playing some unbelievable football.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just quickly on the Haaland thing, I think that's one thing that he will learn. I think sometimes we forget he is 22. I think he will learn that in those games where they've got 3 top quality centre-halves, 2 to 3 holding midfielders in front of that, he will then learn how he finds his space, how he does. I don't think he's used to that. I don't think many teams in the Premier League have played that way against them. But with regards to John Stones, what a player. Technically, he's fantastic. And I actually saw a video popped up yesterday on Instagram or whatever it was of Pep Guardiola talking about John Stones back in 2017, 2016. I'm not sure which one of them. And it was when John Stones was getting so much stick, and Pep was asked in a press conference whether or not he feels that he made a mistake, whether John Stones is good enough. And he turned around and was like, watch this guy. He said, this guy is technically brilliant. He said, yes, he's going to make mistakes. He went, because that's my fault. He said, that's my fault. I ask a lot from my centre halves. Playing for me as a centre half is not easy. They're going to make mistakes. But you look, Rants, the development of John Stones in the last 5 years has been sensational, to the point where Laporte and Diaz were it. That was it. That was the back two. Then all of a sudden, Stones was in and didn't lose his place again. Like, he just, I think he's a wonderful footballer. He's the best defender
but this
in
is
England.
what I'm saying, and this is why, this is why for me, Pep is the greatest. Do you know what I mean? This is why Pep is the greatest, and this is not even shady, but I heard Sir Alex Ferguson say something similar about Phil Jones, and look how they both turned out, innit? Phil Jones and John Stones. When it comes to identifying a player, and what Pep could turn these men into, he said that Phil Jones was going to be England captain and all these things, and look at Phil Jones, innit? And then Pep's come out 6 years ago saying, yo, like, look out for this kid, and look what the fuck he's done. Like, do you know what I mean? It's mad to me. It's mad to me when I look at Pep Guardiola, and his player development and his player ID and all these other things and everything that he's done. This guy's a monster, innit? Like, and the thing is, like, I haven't seen as many managers as Pep Guardiola make players what they are. Like I was saying to my brother, that like Pep is the kind of manager, that will players that you don't rate, he'll have you rating them, and you're just like, what has this guy done? Like, there's nothing. I watched John Stones at Everton. There was nothing about the John Stones that was making all those mistakes at centre back that made me think that he could be one of the best holding midfielders in the league. There's nothing about it. There's nothing about it.
I think a lot of it as well is, look, we've had this conversation before. There's a lot of talk whenever Pep Guardiola's mentioned about the money he spends, but lots of clubs over the years, if you add up, spend loads and loads of money, some more than Pep. What Pep never gets credit for, though, is he signed so many players that people doubt. Like, fans, we all go, oh my God, he signed that player. They then evolve and we go, yeah, but he just buys good players. And it's like, well, hang on. You all
like
doubted.
Someone put in the chat, Pep probably hasn't signed an already world-class player.
Doesn't.
People can say, oh, Erling Haaland and that, cool. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at the likes that he brings in, it's like when he brings them in at the time, people aren't like, holy shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not that. Like, even the Akanji signing, the Ake signing. I remember when Manchester United were linked with Ake and at Bournemouth, and I said I liked him. Loads of people were saying he was too short. Yep. Loads of people were saying he's overrated, all of these other things. Nathan Ake has arguably been one of City's top three players this season. Doesn't get any credit for it. Brilliant. And he looks so good in that team. Do you know what I mean? And this guy said, Rants, you need a blue jersey. You know what's funny, Hey, you know what's funny? God. I'm not gonna sit here, One thing I'm not gonna do, is sit here and pretend, that I don't look at what Man City do in admiration. Because I'm someone that owns a club myself, innit? And I'm in the process right now of trying to change the culture, I'm change the culture at my club and bring a winning culture and a winning mentality to my club. Obviously, they've won stuff before, but it's never been done properly. What City are doing right now, I look at in pure admiration, bro, regardless of who I support, because they're the best run club in the world, undisputedly, in terms of how they do things. When you look at what they use, exactly. When you see what their youth team are doing right now, all the way up, they're winning everything. All the way up, and you think but it's not just the first team. People talk about how much money they spend. They ain't spend as much as us. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're miles better than us. So I'm not going to pretend that I don't admire what City are doing. They've got the best manager in the world, undisputed. They've got the best squad, 1 to 20 in the world, undisputed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They play some of the best football in the world, and I'm about to sit here and pretend that I can't see it.